YouTube? It's your girl, allegedly A-lease, and I'm here to give you my thoughts and my opinions on chasing Chris. Wait, that's not the name of it? Let's talk about Married at First Sight, y'all. Before we get started, I would like to thank each and every person who has subscribed thus far. Thank you so much for believing in a small YouTuber like me. And it would mean the world to me if you are not subscribed, if you would hit that subscribe button as well as hit that notification bell so that you know the moment that I upload a brand new video each and every week. Also, if you're feeling this video, please support your girl and give me a quick thumbs up. All right, let's get into it, y'all. So we open with the couples returning back to the ATL, and Haley is in her feelings saying that she's alone because Jacob is not communicating with her. Sis, did you communicate with him when you slipped off for the girls' night that turned into the couples' night? Nah, you didn't. You get over it. Eric tells Virginia, I've done this marriage and living together thing before. And I'm thinking, wait, but Eric, you hadn't done it with Virginia. This is a whole nother person, okay? And let's not act like it's a badge of honor. Virginia says that she's going to need her space from time to time. Sis, your husband is a whole entire pilot. Why do I know more about your husband than you do? Why you act so crazy sometimes, Virginia? Sis, he is a whole entire pilot, like a whole... Ladies and gentlemen, it's 55 degrees outside. It's nothing but smooth sailing today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the 2-hour flight. Thank you for flying with Delta. Pilot, okay? So he's never gonna be there, okay? When he is there, he's probably gonna be relaxing, trying to catch up on some downtime, playing his guitar. Bruh probably ain't gonna be studying you. Chill out, Virginia. Be married for once. Something tells me that in the long term, Virginia is going to have so much time alone that she is going to start finding issues with her relationship with Eric because of that time alone. She's going to start accusing him of stuff. Something just tells me. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. Paige returns to the apartment that's set up for her and Chris alone. I don't know why we're shocked, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, I don't know why we're shocked. Chris tells her that he bought a plane ticket to Chicago because he needs his moment alone. He needs some time to get away and think about things. He needs some space. He needs some healing time. It's always about you, Chris. But let me say this. This is where I don't agree with this. I actually think that Chris is still in Atlanta. And it's funny, my mom texted me and she said, while the show was on, she said, I think Chris is walking away going to get some acting classes to learn how to dominate the whole entire scene so that everything is about Chris. I disagree with that, and that's my mom's perspective. I think that Chris is going to hang out with that ex-fiance every time he walks away. I do agree with her that he's still in ATL, but I think that he's with his baby mama, ex, whatever you want to call her. So Jacob arrives back at the apartment with Haley, and he says, we haven't been talking, so let's talk. And Haley says, well, do you know why I haven't been talking to you? Newsflash, Haley, you was the one that was in the wrong, boo. It was you. As Jacob does something that Haley lacks the effort to learn how to do, which is open up and share feelings, she continuously cuts him off. You know what this means, Haley? You're not listening. Listen, Linda, listen, honey. Haley says that she is insulted that Jacob would assume that she's a liar. My boy says, assume? You are a liar and you lack accountability. Get him, Jacob. Get him. And of course, Haley goes full Karen on Jacob. She says, I haven't been able to eat in over 2 days because of this whole situation that you're putting me through. Jacob. Nah, sis, you ain't been able to eat in the past 2 days because you've been drunk for the past 2 days. Your stomach can't hold nothing else. That's what it is, boo. Sober up. In this scene, Jacob is fed up, and I have nothing but respect for Jacob because he's put up with a lot from Haley at this point. Now I just wish he'd run down the hall, knock on Paige's door, and help her grow a pair. But anyway, they still make up later. Jacob and Haley, that is. Of course, I'm not talking about Chris and Paige. Jacob and Haley make up later. But still, at least Jacob got to get everything off of his chest. The couples visit each other's actual homes, and I told y'all 2 seconds ago, Jacob goes straight into one of Haley's closets and pulls out an outfit and says, "This is a total Karen blouse right here." At least I'm not the only one that sees that Haley has some Karen behavior. Haley says, "That's my mom's blouse." Okay, I guess you're a part of the Karen Academy then. You're in training. Virginia is not impressed with Eric's condo because it's not cozy the way she likes it, with 10 cats and 15 dogs. But in all seriousness, Eric has a really nice bachelor pad. It really is like an elegant bachelor pad. So no complaints there. He has his guitar area where he does his music, and it's soundproof for the ambience of music. She couldn't handle that. She wants pictures everywhere. She wants it to be real tight and claustrophobic with all these animals in it. But Eric, kudos, Eric. It's a nice bachelor pad. And I think it would be a perfect place to make a home. You can add a couple flowers in there, girl, make it look good. And we finally get to see this house that Jacob has told any and everybody about that would listen. He's shown the security footage and everything. He's finally showing his house to Haley, and it is decked out like the 80s, for real. As they look through his closet, Jacob says, "Now that's an authentic, official, members-only jacket with pride." And Haley, being a 90s baby, she's lost. She doesn't know. Quick side note, though. For real, this is our season's Doug. Jacob is seriously Doug. If anyone can remember season 1, where Jamie was not attracted to him no matter what, but then she saw that she could mold him into something that was perfect for her. Literally, Jacob is that same kind of guy. He can be molded into whatever you want him to be. You're not into the 80s? Tell bruh, get rid of the 80s stuff or I'm gone. And let it be, because it seems like he's balancing. I mean, he has a nice little polo on, so he's not totally stuck in the 80s. So just have that conversation with him, Haley. Mold that man into what you want him to be. Pastor Cal visits Bree and Vincent and asks how is everything going. And Bree says, "Well, Vincent is kind." And Vincent says, "Bree checks off all of my boxes." Now, Pastor Cal asks if they've discussed finances, and Vincent says, "Bree knows that I recently started my business." Now, I want to call this out because I hang out in these social media streets, and I actually had a conversation with a poster who posted if there should be some concern about Vince because there were no pictures on his social media about his up-and-coming business. And I went and Googled it like it was nothing, and I was able to find that he just got his business license approved in the state of Georgia in 2020. So if he got it approved in the middle of a pandemic, then I'm sure he doesn't have any pictures up yet because he's still working on his clientele. And right now is just not the time to be taking pictures with folks. It is what it is, sis. So I completely believe that Vincent has talked to her. I believe that he's honest in this. The young lady was saying the last pictures that he had was from when he was working at BMW, and she felt like he was trying to recycle those, but they were all old pictures. So y'all give Vince a break. He just started a business. It takes some time to get a business up and running. And so he said that, Brianna has agreed to be patient with him, and she spoke up. She said, wherever he's lacking, I'm going to pick up the slack. Pastor Cal asked if there could be any other issues down the line that they may need to go ahead and discuss now. And Vince says, "Respect. Respect is everything to me." Vince, you still playing with this representative. I know we about to see the real Vince because you keep giving us hints. Like that respect. What does that mean, respect? This girl respects you. She literally, like, will drink your bathwater, bruh. This girl's in love with you. But when he explains to Pastor Cal what he means, he says, you know, she's very direct. And I can say that Vince actually respected her in that moment, because to use the term bossy with an African-American woman, bossy, aggressive, all these other terms that you wouldn't use with anyone else. And that's no disrespect to any other colored woman, but it is what it is. Like, don't use that term. And so he said, she's direct. And that really is a better term to say. Thank you so much, Vince. Next, Pastor Cal visits with Eric and Virginia, and he asks about the age difference. And Eric says, you know what? The number isn't the issue. It's just how we're at two different points in our lives. Eric says that Virginia likes to party, and she hasn't had the type of serious relationships that he has had. And of course, Virginia's just sitting there chugging her wine. Says, if we can just get one scene without you drinking. I mean, you really are feeding into Chris's statement about you being a drunk. Like, I don't want to call you a drunk, sis. Like, I know you like to have a good time, but one scene, one. Eric says Virginia approaches the relationship as if it's a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship. And for some reason, Virginia opens her mouth as if what she was about to say was going to be acceptable to anyone in that room or watching. Sis said, he wants me to text him and let him know when I made it safely to my destination. What am I, 16? No, sis, you're married, okay? People in relationships do that. Boyfriend and girlfriends do that, okay? That's called a man caring about you, Virginia. Now, Pastor Cal already looking at her like she crazy, but she continues. She says, sometimes I drink too much. Not you, Virginia, not you. She says, sometimes I drink too much and I pass out at my best friend's house, who are guys. What's the big deal? Pastor Cal clearly wasn't having it. He sternly told sis, that is not okay. Pastor Cal breaks down the role of a husband, and Virginia looks lost. I don't know why Virginia is so rebellious to this marriage, because you signed up for this marriage. Help me understand. Did you think that you can continue to do the same things that you did before while being married and your husband would be okay with it? Meanwhile, across the complex, Paige is filming herself at this point. The production crew said, you know what? Call us when Chris gets back, because we ain't got nothing to film with just you sitting here by yourself. Call us when Chris get back. Paige informs us that Chris is now on his way to talk with her, and when he arrives, he actually tells the production crew he doesn't want to be filmed while he has a conversation with Paige. But we can hear it. He tells Paige he's not the type to fake with or without the cameras. My eyes gonna get stuck one day rolling my eyes at you, Chris. Oh my God. Stop, Chris. Stop with your lies. And then their mics go silent. After their meeting, Paige promptly gets on the phone with the producers to spill the tea. Chris tells Paige straight up he's still in love with his ex. And through Paige's tears, she continues to explain to us that she told Chris, you didn't even give us a chance. But Chris is not having it. At this point, Chris says he wants to move forward with the divorce proceedings because he's already talked to a divorce lawyer. Go figure. Paige tells production that she feels disgusted that she's been intimate with this man. Hold up, sis. Now, no one told you that you had to be intimate with anybody. You made that conscious decision trying to do your duty, and you should not have. You married a stranger. Your roles and responsibilities are a little different than the average wife, okay? You're not the average bear yogi. And then Paige pops off. I like saying it. Normally it's about Chris. Paige pops off. And she says, F him, F her, F everyone. He took me through this. He dragged me through this emotional roller coaster and all this drama. I'm going to air him out to Pastor Cal. Girl, we know that's a lie. I'm going to air him out to Pastor Cal tomorrow. And she hangs up the phone on production. The next day, Pastor Cal shows up to only Paige. And so Pastor Cal says, tell me about the wedding. And Paige says immediately she felt a disconnect. Sis, I did too. When you were reading your vows, that young man was responding as if he was signing up for a new cell phone plan, okay? Like someone was reading him his terms and conditions. Mr. Chris, do you, okay, 2-year contract, early termination fee, pay the lease in full, okay. Literally, that's how Chris responded to her vows. Who interrupts their bride while they're giving their vows? Normally, people are quietly receiving them. Chris is plotting out what's next. Pastor Cal asked Paige if she consented to consummating her marriage. She says yes, and then he asked the question that we all want to know. Why? Her reasoning is because Chris told her, you're my wife. And she said that she felt like it was her duty, even though she really wasn't with it because of the lack of connection. She didn't want to upset her husband. Girl, he showed on mind upsetting you. She continues to tell Pastor Cal that after the second time of consummating their marriage, Chris tells her that he's not attracted to her. And Pastor Cal says, that's BS. Paige says that she should have recognized some of the red flags, but she was committed to the process. Paige, which is it? You following God? The process with the experts? Which one is it, sis? Or is it just that you were so attracted to this man head over heels that you made every excuse under the sun that you could think of to continue to be with Chris, hoping that the physical attraction would change his mind? She tells Pastor Cal that his ex-fiance is 6 weeks with child. And Pastor Cal says something that I knew and I really wanted to share with y'all, but I still got to grow my subscribers so I can get a community tab. So Pastor Cal says that, okay, that means she got pregnant during this process while we had already started this process. And to take it back to what I wanted to tell you all, her mother, Mercedes, whatever she wants to call herself, her mother actually posted, I want to say it had to be the end of June, beginning of July, you all pray for my daughter and her fiance. They have contracted the C. And I'm like, what? Wait a second. Because I'm thinking, when I was engaged and I called off my engagement, my mama was like, that's her ex. You know, mothers are quick to, when it's over, it's done. But this woman said, please pray for my daughter and her fiance, Chris. And this was right around the time that they had already started the process. Now, they didn't get married until the end of August, but they had already started the selection process and all of that. So, and Chris was recruited, if I'm not mistaken. So, they did not do their background check to his social media, to his friends' social media, because social media streets has already found all of this stuff. And Distractify was the one who found that particular posting. So, Pastor Cal asked something that I didn't really think should have been a question, but it really caught me off guard. Pastor Cal said, well, did you all continue to be intimate after he told you that he wasn't attracted to you? And Paige says yes. Every single day, with the exception of 2 days. With no proper precautions put in place. None. So Paige, you let this man empty your soul out and use your body every single day. After he said what he said to you, after he did what he did to you, you really did that. Really? This is where I hold the show accountable, because these people need counseling before they walk into their unknown marriages. they need to be equipped with the right tools to understand what's healthy and what's not healthy. And I think that they owe that to the people moving forward, because clearly we have seen them do this pattern of women having to take whatever the man throws at them just to make it through the season, because they signed those contracts that say if they walk away, they have to pay a certain amount of money. I think you all owe them some type of psychological help on the front side of it so that they know how to handle it once they get in there. I mean, love yourself, Paige. My God. There are people who hate themselves that are not putting up with things that you're putting up with. Now, Pastor Cal asked Paige, why didn't you cover yourself and put the proper precautions in place? And sis had jokes at the wrong time, okay? This was not funny. No one's laughing, Paige. I mean, at this point, people are going to start to laugh at you. You keep playing like this. Paige says, well, I mean, he wanted a honeymoon, baby. It's not funny, Paige. It's not funny. And in walks Chris with that stupid look on his face that he always has. And Pastor Cal is sitting there looking like he wants to put paws on Chris. So Pastor Cal asked Chris, so you broke up with your ex, correct? And Chris says, yes. And he says, so she's your ex and you left her for a reason. Is that reason no longer valid and things can now progress? Chris says it hasn't gotten that far yet. Yes, it has, Chris. Remember, you just told this girl last night that it had made it that far. Which one is it? You said you wanted to be back with your ex. You can't even remember the lies you told less than 24 hours ago. Do better, Chris. But Pastor Cal makes a very good point. He says, you don't have to be with your ex to raise your child. Paige says, my intentions were pure when I walked into this process. She says, I told the experts where my head was day one. And Chris says, and I didn't? No, you didn't, bruh. But she says, you've dragged me on this emotional roller coaster the entire time. Pastor Cal says, you have to see her perspective in this. And Chris, this fool, says, but I didn't drag her. Yes, you did. You did. And Pastor Cal says, you didn't admire her. You didn't desire her until you needed her physically for your needs. He asked Chris, why is there a physical desire for Paige if you're not attracted to her? And Chris refuses to answer the question. Now, Pastor Cal uses a term that really doesn't sit well with me at all. I'm so sick of this term, and I'll be glad when we finally retire this term. He says, that right there, Paige, she's a ride or die. Stop saying that, because ride or die basically tells a man that no matter what he does, you're going to be right there at the end of the day. And so far, you're right. She is a ride or die. But it's not a healthy mentality, because in this, you see Paige is the only one that's suffering. So stop using that term ride or die, because the only one that gets messed up in the head is the quote-unquote ride or die. And Chris's response to Pastor Cal's Paige is a ride or die is that my ex-fiance is also an amazing woman. What? Oh, you sick, bro. You real sick. You sick. Pastor Cal asks Paige if she wants a divorce, and she says, well, I'm basically stuck with getting a divorce because he doesn't want me. And Chris says, this is what's best for the both of us. Okay. Pastor Cal says in his confessional interview that he's no longer comfortable with this marriage. Okay, well, bruh, why did you get up and walk out without taking Chris with you? Take Chris with you. You see this girl weak. You see this girl's going to continue to put up with whatever Chris throws at her. Take Chris out the door with you. So after Pastor Cal leaves, Chris and Paige are sitting there, and I'm still not sure why he didn't take Chris with him since he was so uncomfortable. But Chris says to Paige, I am so sorry. I cannot say I'm sorry enough. Whatever, Chris, save it. But then he leans over and whispers in Paige's ear like they're in the third grade or he's the yin-yang twin. Come here, girl, let me whisper in your ear. So, like dear. Like, what? Be grown, Chris. We're going to find out what you say anyway. But we find out, like I said, we find out that Chris says that he fears falling in love with Paige. And Paige leans back and says, don't tell me that. Paige, don't tell me that you buying that. Don't tell me that. So Pastor Cal is now meeting with Chris's sister, Haley, and Jacob, and they're discussing her lack of affection. And Pastor Cal says, you do realize that affection is the most basic function of a relationship. Haley doubles down and says, there's not a connection there. And if there was any little small hope of a connection, he messed it up the other night when he really said how he felt. Excuse me, Chris? Haley? Pastor Cal finally gets Haley to tell Jacob that his 80s addiction is a huge turnoff. And he says, okay, we'll work on it. And so they both agree to start working on their communication. So we close it out with Vince and Bree. They come back to their apartment after going to each other's apartment to pick up some things for the house. And Vince decides to pop a bottle and it spills everywhere. You instantly see a change in Vince's demeanor. Now, fast forward a little bit and Bree is unpacking. And she looks over at Vince and says, well, what's wrong? And he says, well, I'm just tired. And so she says, you know what? I can just finish packing tomorrow. Since you're tired, I'll just go change and we'll get ready for bed. And she closes the bathroom door and she whispers to him, Vince, what's really wrong? And he says, I'm tired of your smart mouth. What? So they carry the conversation back out to the bedroom. And she says, well, Vince, give me some examples so I know not to do it again. And he says, nah, just don't disrespect me again. Respect me. Put some respect on it. So he finally gives her an example and he says, well, the comment that you made about, oh, that's so Vinnie, when I spilled the champagne. And she says, what are you saying? He's like, what you trying to say? I'm slow? Like, dude popped off. Like, nah. She was like, I'm just joking. She was like, well, I didn't know we were serious. She was like, I don't know you to call you slow. Like, these people forget that they're strangers. But I want to remind y'all, a couple reviews back, I said, wait till that representative leave. Remember, he said he was cool, calm, and collective. I said, we'll see. Here it is. Welcome, Vince. Welcome to the table. So I don't know if Vince realized that he was kind of caught up in his anger and it really was nothing to be upset with and he just couldn't show that weakness of, oh, my bad, I messed up. But he got up and he stormed out the house. Like, I'm just going to leave. I'm going home. And Bree's like, well, this is your home. I'm confused. But he storms out. And that's where we leave it, guys. So is Haley looking for an excuse not to allow her marriage to work? Is Chris dragging Paige along just to extend his time on TV? Who's right between me and my mama? Is Chris off getting acting lessons when he's not in scene? Or is he off seeing the mother of his child who is probably really not his ex? And is Vince overreacting on the That's So Vinnie joke that Bree made? I want to hear your opinion. So let's chat about it down in the comments. Until the next time, I'm allegedly A-lease. Peace.